Hello there, my name is Victor Oguinka, and you're welcome to the midweek edition of Today in the News, and of course all of those newspapers across the Federation, and looking at the major headlines everywhere.
Over 1,000 people are benefiting from free medical services provided by the FCT chapter.
Arsenal fans will be very interested in this news. Arsenal's first club transfer record signed Pep.
Hi viewers, you're welcome to Vanguard Live. It's your morning program. Today in the news, here we read and give in-depth analysis on the stories across Nigeria on the front pages of the newspapers. And I'm Damilola Ogusheki, and I will be starting with the front page of Vanguard newspaper. Insurgency: 90% of Boko Haram's victims are Muslims, says President Muhammadu Buhari in article published in US magazine. And he also adds that slaying Pastor Andimi's faith should inspire all Nigerians. No multi-stakeholder survey to prove president's assertion. This is coming from Christian Association of Nigeria. Why Christians are now target of deadly terror attacks? I think investigation is saying this. Details can be found on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to other stories. On page 10, no going back on Okada ban, says Sowolu. Custom intercept $8.065 million cash at Lagos airports. Details can be found on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. And lastly, on page 8 speech bill, stakeholder sponsor clash at town hall meeting. And that is all on the front page of the Vanguard. And lastly, the picture, it was taken at the president officially present to the public the Nigerian visa policy 2020 in State House Abuja yesterday. And moving on to this day newspaper, on the front page, in landmark agreements, U.S. to return $308 million Abacha assets for infrastructure, praises Buhari for fight against corruption. And other stories, new visa policy to create globally competitive economy, says president. Details can be found on page 10 of this day's newspaper. And from this day, we go straight to The Nation. And on the front page of The Nation newspaper, Operation Amotekun, Nigeria Labour Congress, bishops back security outfits. Governors, Inspector General to meet. Attorney General fine-tune bill. Clerics slam federal government. And on page 5, $8.6 million cash seized at Lagos airports. Details can be found on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And on page 43, Buhari, Muslims are 90% of insurgency victims. And lastly, on the front page of the Nation, on page 42, Oyo Assembly indeed sacked council chiefs. Police seized charms. You can see that on page 42. And from there we go straight to the Punch. And on the front page of the Punch, Khan flays Buhari's claim that 90% Boko Haram victims are Muslims. And other stories, Saudi ambassador to Nigeria dies in Abuja. Details can be found on page 43 of the Punch newspaper. And on page 9, Fayose says Ado Akure Road now a death trap. On page 27, Customs investigate $8.07 million seized at Lagos airports. Oshiomhole must apologize if he wants reconciliation. This is coming from Obaseki's deputy. And details can be found on page 13 of the Punch newspaper. Native doctor, cemetery attendant, napped with human skulls. Details can be found on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And moving on to the stories above the nameplates, don't borrow pension fund, Labour warns federal government. Details can be found on page 42. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, community policing gets 31 million naira. Southwest governors, Inspector General meets on Thursday. And lastly, we go to Daily Trust. And on the front page of Daily Trust, 6 years after, Chibok girls sighted at Simbisa forest. Abductors ready for negotiation, and sources are saying this. And you can find this on the front page, and also it continues on page 5 of Daily Trust paper. And moving on to other stories, on page 8, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Nigeria is dead. Nigeria Labour Congress to Buhari, nowhere in Nigeria is safe. You can see it on page 6. And on page 42, Buhari's indifference worsens APC's crisis in states. Moving on to the stories above the front, the main headline. Customs to spend 577 million naira on boreholes and 128 million naira on TVs. 90% of Boko Haram victims are Muslims. Buhari is saying this. And United States to Nigeria, you will repay Abacha loot if restolen. You can see this on page 6 of Daily Trust. And that is all we have on the paper review. And after the break, we have a guest with us in the studio. We'll be discussing some of these stories with us, like the insurgency. 90% of Nigerian Boko Haram victims are Muslim, according to the presidency. And while doing this, don't forget to like and follow us on our social media platforms and visit our website, vanguardngr.com, to get more of our top stories. Stay with us, we'll be back. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Today in the News. Here we read and give in-depth analysis on the stories across Nigeria and the newspapers. And I'm Damilola Ogunshaki, and I have Victor Ogunyika with me in the studio as an analyst, and he'll be analyzing some of the stories with us. Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you with us in the studio.
Good to be here.
I hope it wasn't difficult for you to get to the studio this morning.
It's becoming a routine, so we just continue to live the new life here.
Okay, quickly let's go straight to the points. Chibok girl sighted at Simbisa forest. A 10-year-old girl who recently gained freedom, and she was abducted last year, March. She said she sighted some of the girls in Simbisa forest before she left, and I think she said 2 of them were in the same town with her, while the remaining girls were working in the hospital, and they said they are not ready to come back to Nigeria. So what do you think about this?
Okay, first, I think it's quite cheering to know that at least those girls are still alive. You know, a couple of months, years back, very quick negotiation, close to 100 of those girls were released, and we thought that it wouldn't be long again since, that the remaining will be well negotiated on and released. But unfortunately, days have turned to weeks, weeks have turned to months, now years are counting, over 2,000 days, when this incident happened, and we are still here. But it is good a thing, well, if that report is anything to go by, that someone actually cited them and could recognize a couple of them also. But don't forget, one of the strongest points of this administration and power is security fights. Nigerians were so upbeat about it. Reports had that they said in 6 months they would have made some strong progress, but 5 years and counting, the reality is still upon us. First, how did the person that was released in that, where was she going to? How did she realize that, okay, these are Chibok girls? That it means that Simbisa forest is still not as safe as the military claims, over some time. Yes. So in all of it, we can take some positive out of it. The girls are still alive. But talking about them wanting to come back or not, the truth is, when you see the solace, the confines of your home, you are restored back to default setting. It is a psychological battle. they give you all the comfort you can get away from home, so that you start forgetting and they start using you for what they want to use you for.
Okay.
You know, so it is more psychological. It is almost about the Stockholm effects now taking place, affecting the people that are being captured. But let me
their
tell you,
doctors are saying that they are ready for negotiation, and the
Yes.
parents of those people are actually happy that it's really hope restored for them that their children are alive, and they never believed that they were gone. But now that the doctors have said that they are ready for negotiation, do you think that they should be ready to negotiate with them?
you know, let me point your attention to something. You see, when an abductor is talking about negotiation, it tells you that some chips are down. You know, some things are being affected, and they need to restore. What are they going to be asking for? Money, release of some of their persons that have been captured, you know, or giving government some very, very stringent conditions that they may not be able to. If the government can continue, you know, the military operative, as much as we can say they are doing their best to ensure that we have a saner nation, even though the reality is upon us, and security or peace in this nation is really, really far from anywhere around us. But if they are coming up for negotiation, why not? The government should do everything possible in bringing these people back, not in the process empowering and strengthening, you know, the militants. The terrorists.
Now
again.
that is what people are saying on the media, on the social media, that if they negotiate with these people and pay their funds, they are indirectly funding them.
It depends on what the negotiation is about. Let me tell you, the best of nations negotiate with terrorists. It may just not be as open-ended as this one that we are facing. Our situation is a very peculiar one. If we cannot do everything naturally, humanly possible to bring back these people on a man-face-man kind of operation, then we have to come to the negotiation table. And whatever they are asking from, the government must have an end game to ensure that this doesn't turn to a routine. Like I said earlier, you cannot continue to strengthen terrorists, and it becomes a cycle, because they know that whenever they go broke, someone gave a report and said that anytime these people are broke, they go into the city. They don't even want to kill some other people anymore because they have targets. They just go cash in on some of goods and services that they can lay their hands on, go back to their hiding place.
Okay.
The government must ensure that this stops.
Okay, still speaking on the terrorism, 90%. President Muhammad Buhari said that 90% of Boko Haram victims are Muslims. What do you think about these statistics?
The first thing that came to my mind is do we have names? Do we have real names of people and religion and places where these ones come out from? I think it's a very, very, I was surprised to hear that, whichever way it is. But, Damilola, we are first Nigerian before we have our religious affiliation. What matters if 90% are Muslims or Christians, or they don't even go to anywhere? We are talking about a people losing its numbers to an avoidable war, to an avoidable instance, and we are counting who belongs where. No, this does not have to go. And in the first place, we ask that who compiled the report. So we shouldn't pick it from the most ridiculous point of view, saying 90% of them are Muslims or no.
Okay,
For
so
me, it's a low. It is really, really unfortunate that we have to start doing a game of who belongs where. They are Nigerians. 100% of those that are killed are Nigerians, and they are really, really, they belong to one family, they belong to one society, and it is affecting the peace, the trust that people are having on the federal government. So the federal government should forget about who belongs where and ensure that the 1% that will be killed next is avoidable.
Okay, we'll continue after the break. Don't forget to like and follow us on our social media platforms, and visit our website www.vanguardngr.com to get more of our top stories. Stay with us, we'll be back after the break.
Hello there, my name is Victor Ogunyika, and you're welcome to the midweek edition of Today in the News, and of course all of those newspapers across the Federation, and looking at the major headlines everywhere.
Over 1,000 people are benefiting from free medical services provided by the FCT chapter.
Somebody Arsenal fans very interested in this news. Arsenal Spurs club transfer record signed Pep
Okay, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News. Here we read and give in-depth analysis on the stories on the dailies across Nigeria. And I'm Damlola Ogunshaki, and I've been with Victor Ogunyika in the studio, and he has been giving some analysis on the stories. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you again.
Okay, so we're talking about the statistics that President Muhammadu Buhari gave. So let's look at what the Christian Association of Nigeria said. They said, and I quote, said, Nigeria needs to know if they have not known, the reason why presidency could not pay ransom to rescue Chibok girls. It is because 80% to 90% of the girls are Christians. And the reason why Dapchi girls' ransom was quickly paid and they were returned is the discovery that most of the girls were Muslims, except Leah Sheribu, who is still in captivity. This is what the Christian Association of Nigerians are saying. And Ohaneze is also saying that what we are saying is it should stop the killings. The government has the capacity to stop them, but the body language of the federal government is showing otherwise. So now the Christian Association of Nigeria are saying that 80% or 90% are Christians. They are also giving their own statistics. And the President Muhammadu Buhari also said 90% are Muslims. So now what do you think about this contradictory report?
What I think is the angle of the Ohaneze in the whole of this matter. Ohaneze has come out to say that what we are asking you to do is to ensure that this killing stops. No matter, I don't want to know personally if 100% are not even Nigerian. They are being killed, they are being kidnapped on Nigerian soil. They belong to a family, like I said the other time. Let the federal government and can not distract us with the weight of this effect on our society. People are no longer living a normal life in northeast Nigeria because of growing part of insurgency. A couple of days ago, someone was arrested, a bomber was arrested and he was supposed to bomb a church. His name was given as Nathaniel Samuel. And he wanted to bomb a church. So let us leave all of this politics of who belongs to where first and ensure that we protect everybody that has to be protected. If we must remind ourselves, these people are teenagers because they are school children. They were kidnapped. Some of them were used as suicide bombers. It has degenerated to that, but we're talking about kids. So let us take what Ohaneze is saying on this matter, that the federal government should stop this killing first. Then we can now start arguing who belongs where.
Okay, away from that, still on the security issues and terrorism, Nigeria Labour Congress now backs a security outfit, bishops. They back security outfit as the code-named Operation Amotekun. They're now backing it, saying that it's a good thing. Now, it has been going on for some time. So what do you think about them now having NLC backing them and saying that it's good? Considering that we have some governors and people who have been saying that it's good, and the bill that they've already presented to the government and yes.
What Amotekun, from what we understand, is supposed to take care of is preventing little crimes from going bigger. They're supposed to be gathering intelligence reports. They're supposed to be helping the larger security society to get a better nation. The Southwest government jumped at it, which was a very, very applaudable development. There have been incessant killings from herdsmen attack, from kidnapping, from thefts, from every other ones. So they came and discovered that this is becoming too much. A chieftain's daughter was also killed in the process in Ondo State. They couldn't take it anymore. And there have been too many clamors for, number one, restructuring, number two, for state and community policing. All those things were too late. But looking at it in their own power, they came together as a unit and decided to form Amotekun. And now it became a national grumble. So if NLC is coming to back Amotekun, I think it just underscores or it re-emphasizes the importance of ensuring that we are protecting our citizenry from the from the states even to the federal government. The federal government should be happy that everybody is trying to take this thing personal.
We also have the federal government talking about community policing.
Talking about community policing, Southwest is almost ready with their own kind of community policing.
Yes, they are ready with their own kind
South is ready to do almost the same thing. Southeast is thinking about it. Far away north, everybody is trying to adopt a security measure.
Now that means that we have both community policing and we will have the Operation Amotekun, the Amotekun.
Do you know
so
that?
What it contradicts? Won't there be any issues when it comes to both of them?
Do you know that the state governors collect security votes monthly? Security vote is supposed to be the effort that they put in ensuring that their states are safe. There's money they collect, and as a matter of fact, it has been one of the most questionable fund for the state governors, because they get this money and you cannot account naturally for how you are protecting your states. So now, if the security votes they get is well used, diverted to ensure that the region, the southwest region, is safe enough, let the federal government find a balance, or let all parties involved find a balance and ensure that the aim should not be defeated. The aim is to protect Nigerians, to have a peaceable environment. So let them think about that first and look at the common ground where they can meet themselves. The federal government can also, make something like that happen too. Let them start with their own community police when it is ready. Everybody is to be complementing the Nigerian police, which we know that the ratio per policeman to a citizen is very, very small.
Okay, lastly on this Operation Amotekun,
Yeah.
the Southwest governors with the Inspector General of Police, they have to meet tomorrow on this Operation Amotekun.
Okay.
So should we say that this meeting is going to be the positive response from the both of them, from the Inspector General of Police?
No, tomorrow is almost here. Don't let us preempt whatsoever is going to happen. So we wait till tomorrow and we see what comes out of it.
Okay, speaking about, we have the reports, the new visa policy. What do you think about this?
Yeah, good initiative. Talking about a time where Nigeria is trying to do everything possible to the United States came a couple of days ago to say that Nigeria has been blacklisted, and people have been reacting to it. So if Nigeria had to come up with a visa policy, looking at a way where their economy can be improved, they are trying to have a flexible work plan that can grow the economy, that can help them to have more interactions with other companies, because if you read some of the things they mentioned in that place, they want to do a visa on arrival kind of policy.
And decided to boost the competitive economy and also improve the company's business environment, and it will boost tourism.
Oh, well.
So now, do we really think that this will boost tourism? Considering that we've been talking about the insecurity issues in Nigeria, and we said there will be visa on arrival for people that will come in. So are there any things that are used to protect these people that are coming into Nigeria, and should we also look into positive aspect that when coming to Nigeria, insecurity issues will not be a problem that will affect them?
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you mentioned this. It is not the flexibility of the visa policy that promotes tourism. It is number one. What are those tourist attractions you have in the nation? It is easier for people to fly all the way to Dubai to try to catch a glimpse of everything they have there, because they have attractive sites. We also have them in Nigeria. But are we doing enough to make them attractive to other persons across the globe? If we are, that is when we can now start taking advantage of whatsoever the visa policy is supposed to be. You mentioned security. If they come and the people are not guaranteed of security, it is also a failed attempt. So the first thing should be done first, while they are at it, ensuring that there is a flexible policy to ensure that there is a competitive economy all around Nigeria and its neighboring countries. They should also ensure that the people, when they come to do one business or the other from different places, are as safe as they could be in their own countries.
But this new visa policy, considering the recent US ban, Nigeria being placed under the US ban, is there any way that this is working towards this US ban?
Oh, well, there was a meeting with the United States, so they gave us some of the insights into why that US ban had to take place. They mentioned that there is no transparency in security reports. That's one of the reasons they mentioned, that there is not enough transparency in the security report. So if they probably factored all this, but something is really, really funny. I'm going to be very surprised if this is a very quick reaction to that visa ban. It is too swift. It just happened, and just overnight you remember that you have to start a visa policy. That kind of it is too reactionary if that is the reason. But I hope that beyond that, the federal government is also trying to make its nation, Nigeria, attractive enough for business, for foreigners, for foreign investors to come and have a home also in Nigeria. So let us pick it. Yeah, let us pick it from that angle, and hopefully it is going to relax whatsoever ban.
Okay, away from that, let's look at the $308 million Basha assets that will be used for infrastructure. And the government of Jersey, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the government of the United States they signed it that these assets will be used for the reconstruction of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Abuja-Kano Expressway, and the second Niger Bridge. And I think this morning, considering that Nigeria currently the economy rate of Nigeria, I think it's coming at the right time for this.
Oh, well, Lagos Ibadan Expressway has been under construction before the Abacha fund. So I'm wondering if work actually stopped there because there was no fund. I'm saying that if Abacha loot is not being returned, are we going to have Lagos Ibadan Expressway, the Kaduna Express that you mentioned, being abandoned? Well, for whatsoever reason it is a good money for Nigeria. Talking about a broke nation.
When this money was actually made known to Nigeria that it's going to be signed, a lot of people were expressing that is it going to be used for the main reason, for the main purpose why they are signing this. But according to the agreement signed, they said it also included a mechanism for monitoring the implementation and external oversight of the project to be executed. That this will ensure that the funds are used responsibly for the good of the nation. And we also have the US saying that if this money is not used for what they are for the purpose, that Nigeria will repay back the money to them. So is it that should Nigerians be happy about this development, that the US, United States, they are monitoring this and that they will make sure that no money is lost?
Well, absolutely. This is what it has generated to. We are naturally supposed to be responsible for how you spend your money. But if someone stole a huge amount of money that we don't even have a number to over 20 years ago, and we are still getting back the fund in batches, then anybody can tell us what to do with the money. We've stooped so low, we've embarrassed ourselves in the eyes of other nations, and yes, the US can tell us that if the money is not well used, we'll have to pay back, and they've agreed to it. So let's hope that the Lagos Ibadan Expressway can now be, take new shape, in record time, and we can see a breakdown of how the money was spent from the Abacha loot.
Okay, away from that, we're talking about the people that are living in Nigeria. According to, they said to AFDB, they said over 180 million people live in Nigeria. Out of them, 124.2 million people now live in poverty. And now we have the statistics yesterday where they said that from within 2019 and 2018 that the debt rate rose to 26.22 trillion from 25.70 trillion. And now we have a lot of people. We have over 124 people that will be living in poverty. So what do you think about this?
Well, the growth rate of Nigeria is way higher than the growth, the birth rate. Let me say the birth rate of Nigeria is higher than the growth rate, the economic growth rate. So that itself is a problem. The statistics about African Development Bank saying over 124 million persons are living in poverty, it might not be against saying Nigeria is comfortably the world capital of poverty.
And we have the debts.
Well, we have debt, rising debt also coming up. So everything is really doesn't seem to be working very well. But don't forget that the president said that over 100 million persons will be taken out of poverty.
But are there any measures being taken to repay this debt?
Well, yes, they probably have measures, because there's no nation that is not in debt. That is the truth. Not even the United States. But it is the paying formula that differs, because we worry as a nation that our leaders are not managing this money very well. That is the problem we have. The United States debt is even more than what Nigeria has. But the World Bank does not have a problem with it, because they know that they are going to pay back in record time. So our own edict should be, how do we manage our fund? And that is why the federal government had to be signing a pact with the United States government and with the Jersey government that if you don't use this money for what you said you use it for, we are going to ask you to pay us back. Okay. So that's it.
Okay, from that, let's go to Vanguard Sports. Yellow to wear shirt number 25. I think the good news about Yalo being the first Nigeria to be signed to Manchester United, and his jersey has actually been revealed to be number 25. That was last worn by Anthony Valencia last summer. So, what do you think about it?
Talking about Yalo being the first Nigeria, there was a premature signature from Mikel Obi when he was reported to have signed for Manchester United in a deal that he didn't understand. He done the Manchester United jersey then during the days of Alex Ferguson, even though he didn't kick a ball for them. Before Chelsea now came and that £4 million pounds deal escalated to 16 million, and he made this move. But now Igalo, all in the eye of everybody, Anthony Valencia 25, Igalo taking it up. The jersey number doesn't matter. Okay, we've had some very, very worst player putting on some best jersey numbers like number 7, like number 10, and they didn't perform. Let Igalo concentrate on getting the best out of this in the next 6 months, that this loan is going to lapse. And hopefully, it might just have another career that is really bringing up for him.
Okay, the Minister of Sport dares athletes to focus on gold in the para lifting that will be starting today in Abuja. And he said, he has been able to identify the needs of this athletes and he has been able to satisfy. He has been able to meet it. So we should expect the best performance from the athletes. So what do you think?
Well, if he's sure that he has met up with everything, we talk about preparation. We talk about how preparation can help success, being achieved easily. Sunday Diary, Minister of Sport, said that everything is set. But Nigeria has a way of performing very, very well when it comes to local competitions.
But he has assured us that we should go get the best performance from them.
Oh yes, if he says, and let's see how it goes. We'll hope that we get the best from them too.
And lastly, we have Amokachi wants Amunike and Sunday Olise to coach Super Eagles. The three of them, they were part of the winning team that got the African Cup of Nations in 1994.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the same recommending Olise and Amunike? That they will be the best guy. And he also made a statement that he himself, they can also consider him that he's going to be a sexy coach for the Super Eagles. And we can remember that Amunike was recently signed by President Buhari to be as a Nigerian football ambassador.
Well, Amokachi likes to steal the show. He's a very trendy sports person, and that recommendation as he gave, you rightly said, those were Nigerian legends. They won good trophies for Nigeria in their days. They had one of the best teams, Amunike and Sunday Olise, and of course the bull himself, Amokachi. So if they are going to be considered for the job, well, maybe not. But you ask yourself, that is Garnet Roy doing so badly? It's the question that we must first ask ourselves. Is there really a need for us to change the present coach? Are we just clamoring or canvassing for local coaches?
And it is being the aspect of the federation being reluctant to sign the Garnet.
Yeah, for obvious
contract.
When you are signing a contract, all hands must be on deck, and it must be explained to the letters, just the way the US government is telling Nigerians that so thing must be what you use that money that you want to collect from us. We don't have good signature. We don't have a well-explained details when we come to signature signing in Nigeria. You can imagine the Super Eagles coach not living in Nigeria. So it comes at intervals and all those things. Something has to change.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's been lovely having you with us in the studio. And with that, we come to the end of a review and analysis for today. And I've been with Victor Oguyinka in the studio, and he analyzed some of this the top stories on the newspaper review. So don't forget to like and follow us on our social media platforms, and visit our website www.vanguardngr.com to get more of our top stories. And after this, we have all the shows coming up on Vanguard Live. So stay tuned with our Vanguard Live. Don't go anywhere. I'm Damlola Ogunshaki, and bye for now.
Hello there, my name is Victor Oguyinka, and you're welcome to the midweek edition of Today in the News, and of course all of those newspapers across the federation, and looking at the major headlines everywhere.
Over 1,000 people are benefiting from free medical services provided by the FCT chapter.
Some of the Arsenal fans will be very interested in this news. Arsenal Spurs Club transfer record cited.